Hi, I'm Nikki Tapper, MBE.
Hello, hi, I'm Glenis Williams, Heritage Development Officer for the Walsall Windrush Sisters Project.
And we're here just to celebrate the end of the series, the podcast that we've recorded over these last few episodes. I really pray that you've enjoyed listening to them, but also just the celebration of the project itself. Now, Glenis, can you share again what the project entailed and how you felt about the project?
You know what? This project has been an absolute dream to work on. I'm someone that's always been interested in heritage, in stories and my cultural diversity. It's given me a platform to really interrogate and to share and gather stories from local women that potentially would never share their stories. There's something quite unique and special about listening to women's stories told within their own voices and they're in their own way. A lot of time women's stories are told by historians that don't necessarily have that experience or that inner kind of self-belief or that sort of authentic voice. And it's been a real privilege to kind of share these stories and actually ensure that they are there forever and they can be used in educational purposes and also on the different platforms that we have for the project.
And I'd say the joy of the project as well is celebrating this region within, or this part of the region of the West Midlands, Walsall, because these are the smaller towns that sometimes can get forgotten. And yet many people from various backgrounds, but for us here celebrating those who come from British, Black, Caribbean backgrounds, made Walsall their home. And as Glenis has said, the fact that we've heard from a lot of women who are part of the project, of what Walsall Black Sisters Collective, why it came into being, and of course men as well, and their contribution to the life here in Walsall and to the lives of many of the women that we've celebrated. But you would have heard on the podcast series, of course, stories of people where it wasn't always so happy, where they did were brought over to the UK without any real say in it, because many children across the board were told you are seen but not heard, and so they were just told you are coming to the UK, and some of them came to families that were ready made and already established, and some of them came where they did have a good time. They had a sibling who they knew and life was at least a little bit more comfortable. But we it was still sad to hear the reality for some of those people who we've interviewed and who you've spoken to as well, Glenis, that it wasn't easy, it wasn't hard. And we're so thankful that they, in a sense, developed a resilience to withstand the trials that they went through and to give their stories and share their stories.
I mean, I think this project has certainly made me more tenacious in really using all my influence to kind of get people on board, because, no one really asks you about some of your difficult histories. So Windrush Children Left Behind would have been a memory that may have been just put away in the back of your mind and actually not really spoken about. So this project has also offered an aftercare service where potentially if some of the stories that have been difficult to process and have triggered upset and emotional upset, we've also put things into place to ensure that those people that have been interviewed are cared for.
So we really hope that you will access the stories on the website. We'll make sure you get the details of that at the end of the programme, but also that you will use it to share with your children, grandchildren, family members that wouldn't have known that the Walsall story, especially from people of Black, British, Caribbean heritage, really did have an impact. And there's some wonderful stories, not only on Walsall Black Sisters Collective website, but also on the website that Glenis has overseen in terms of the project.
Thank you very much.